Lee, Inner City Press, on behalf of the Free UN Coalition for Access. Very glad that you came. It's a very good time to have you here. So I want to ask just straight questions. One has to do with the ship, the WFP ship that was diverted, to Saudi Arabia. They've now said that they're pleased that it was released, but that the humanitarian IT equipment will be released in the future. I just want to get your side of what did you think? The Yemen permanent representative said on the record that he believed that it was Iranian military equipment. What's your understanding of the stuff that was in the ship? The other one has to do with Prince Zaid's report or his spokesman's statement about possible use of cluster bombs, and they say that they're trying to verify it. Is it your position? Are there any cluster bomb use, or why do they think that there is? And finally, just on the council itself, the panel of experts. I know that when their mandate was extended, there was some dispute, and Egypt took the position that the panel of experts has no jurisdiction over the actions of the Saudi-led coalition. And I wanted to know, is that just a kind of a legal position, or do you have a problem with the idea of some kind of external inquiry into the various things that are being alleged to find out if they're true or not? And if not the panel of experts, who should do it? Thanks.
Help remind me. The first question was the ship.
The first question was the ship and the equipment. The second one was
I'm glad you asked about the ship, because the ship situation has now been fully clarified, and it has been fully clarified by the United Nations and by the humanitarian organizations of the United Nations. The ship did contain products that are of dual use, that are computers, communication equipment, etc. That is a fact that is accepted by the United Nations. Number two, these products were not declared in the manifest of the ship. They were not kept in the same place where the other products that were declared were being kept. They were kept in a different location, presumably hidden from any inspection. And fourthly, it was, according to the United Nations, should not have been on the ship going to Hodeidah, but should have been on a ship going to Aden. And we have received from the United Nations an expression of regret for all of these mistakes that have taken place. So the coalition authorities were totally justified upon receipt of the information about this ship, were totally justified in intercepting the ship and directing it to Jazan. The ship was subsequently released, including the contents of medical and food products. The other products were in the process of being transferred to Aden to be delivered to the United Nations humanitarian organizations. We take at face value, we accept the United Nations statement that these were intended for the use of the United Nations facilities, and we do not accuse the United Nations of anything other than mishandling the process by not declaring it, by not putting it in the manifest.
Just one very brief. The Yemen permanent representative, when he said it was Iranian military equipment, where did he get that? Was there any time that you agreed with that, or that was just him?
Well, you'd have to ask the Yemeni representative, but we all thought at the beginning that there must be something funny in that equipment, because it was hidden, because it was not declared, because the ship had originated from Iran and so forth. So there is reason to be suspicious there. Second question was?
The cluster bombs, the reference.
We do not use cluster bombs in Yemen, period. The third.
And the third one has to do with the panel of experts, whether they or some other body should look at claims.
We have no problem with anybody looking into anything. All what we said was that the panel of experts was, although we appreciated their report, and we thought that the report that was presented included a lot of positive information regarding the Houthis, regarding the financing of President Ali Abdallah Saleh and other information. The only thing we said was that this panel of experts were selected based on Resolution 2216 and other prior resolutions to deal with the obstructors of the political process, to suggest new names for obstructors, to administer the sanctions that were imposed on the obstructors. For them to try to give an opinion on other matters, first of all, they are not qualified enough to do so. They do not have the necessary resources. They do not have the necessary people. They do not have the presence on the ground. So there is no way for them to have been able to give such an accurate assessment of that situation. Yes.
Okay, thanks a lot. It's actually, I'll keep it extremely short. Number one, I just wanted to ask you whether you think that OCHA, you've said what OCHA said, and then you also said to my colleague Nizar, don't speak for me. Doesn't it apply to OCHA? And is OCHA have a conflict of interest, given that they've taken so much aid money, to be saying that there's no need for a Security Council resolution?
I think OCHA is independent enough not to be influenced by that. And secondly, you can verify that statement with OCHA.
And can you ask your Yemeni colleagues, I understand that on Tuesday next, they're coming to give a briefing in New York, but not in the United Nations, not where all journalists can go. And it's a request to you to suggest that they did it, to your credit, the way you did it, so that everyone can come and ask. If you
I'll
can let them know.
communicate that to my colleague, the
Excellent.
Ambassador of Yemen. Thank you all very much.